This is Drew and Nick. Oh, this is Drew and Nick.
What if we all were intentional about when we called somebody, the questions we wanted to ask them?
Mm-hmm.
Like how much more productive, how much more insightful, how much more could we help our friends if we were just more intentional about the calls that we made and the things
That's
that
what
we
this whole
wanted to know?
thing's about. That's what this whole thing's about. Like, we don't get enough conversations like this. And you and I apparently crave this because we're on a video call together, and you're in Colorado, I'm in Alabama. And I want to have more of these conversations with people like you. So that's why we're having this thing right here, right now, is along the same lines, what you just said. And that's sort of a predisposition to your actual laying out the questions for Nick Elcott's interviewee or Drew Thomas's interviewee or whatever, whatever this turns into. But I think, like, for now, it's just a conversation between you and I. I mean, that's what these series are going to be. So
Yeah,
cool.
I put on my Instagram story, just kind of like we just want to shoot the breeze, help each other grow, talk about life, love, stress, setbacks, habits, stuff like that. And yeah, and I think that'll. So I'm just going to jump in with.
Before you jump in with the questions, let's preface this to talk about how we grew up together. Like,
Okay, I like that.
How we began to garner a friendship, and how, like, I'll go first. So I remember in fourth grade, Cava Heights Elementary, I was in Miss Alvis's class, and I think were you in Miss Little's class?
Yeah, I was in Little.
Yeah, and I was a little bit like, dadgummit, he's in Miss Little's class, but I didn't know you at the time, and I didn't really have, like, we graduated with 50 people in the elementary school, so you knew everyone in the class. So I just wanted to get to know other people more, and I feel like I knew the whole school, but you guys are new, so I wanted to get you to know you guys better. But you had just moved from Briarwood, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to know. I think at the time I was just like, Nick's cool. I want to hang out with him more. And then from there, my mind progresses to doing carpool together and just like going over to your house to have like birthday parties and stuff like that. And we got on your trampoline, on your your back trampoline, and I wanted to teach you guys like how to wrestle. And then I remember, because we always had like wrestling matches in my place, but I was always the best one because I was always the oldest. But you guys had a fort. You guys had a pond in your backyard. You guys had so much room to work, and I thought it was super cool. And moved from there to I mean, like, video games and connecting with video games and stuff like that. And we just became really good friends based off of that. That was just like the initial seedling, the way you and I like to put it, that I'm sure will continue to be a theme throughout this process of us talking to each other. So
I'll just say the first time in my memory that I remember you, and this is something that just hit when you were talking right there. I just remember you were in the bathroom, the boys' bathroom. It was like fourth grade or something, and you had this. Do you remember your cowlick that went like that?
yeah, I still have it.
Yeah, you had your hair like cut short like this, and you were in the bathroom with getting your hands wet, trying to push down the cowlick. And I was talking to you about it or something. I was like, dude, what is that or something? But
yeah,
yeah, that was my first memory that I can think of going back.
I felt like so the reason I was working against that cowlick is because it was completely out of resentment from my father. My dad always wanted me to go into the bathroom with him, and he had no hair. So he was always trying to, like, this is the way I want my hair to be on you, And I would go in there, and I would stay for like 2 seconds maybe, and I just be trying to do the opposite of what he said completely. Um, and now my hair is kind of messy right now, but when I have it groomed, it's kind of like up this way and over that way. So it's like I completely um have accepted and have allowed the cowlick monster to become me. So
Good, man. Good. There ain't nothing wrong with the cowlick. I'll tell you that right now.
I knew there was something about you that you could teach me. Hey, why are you doing that, man?
Fourth grade, bro. What is that? What is that coming out of your head? Dude, it's my hair.
Yeah, like at the time I was like, a cow licked my head and it just never changed.
I'm pretty sure that's what I thought.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what I thought. It's like, where's that thought coming from within my mind? And it's like,
didn't understand the anatomy of it. I was like, cowlick.
Yeah. It's like, no, your hair follicles come up into a place in the piece of your forehead that, it immediately becomes your hairline, and that's where your blah 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 blah. Nobody ever.
Honestly, I still couldn't tell you the technical reason why it occurs, but it does.
No, me neither.
So
me neither.
Let's just go with a cowlick to your head every morning.
Yeah, that's like me. Like if my hairline was the world, I'm that one follicle that's like, you.
I think I could live that life. I think I could live the life of a cow waking me up, just licking my face every morning.
Yeah.
That's my alarm.
Yeah. And just getting your you got your cereal bowl next to you already from the night before, and you just give it a little and then you get your spoon, and you just got it. You're ready to go.
Is that how it works? I didn't know you could prep cereal the night before, but this is all new, and I'm so down for it.
You gave me a look of disgust, and I was like, well, you don't like whole milk? Not with sugar, but of course not, right?
All right, so everyone got, I guess, a little background. I didn't go too deep into it, but progressing into the series, I'll go a little deeper into it.
Let me go a little further. So I when I went over to your house, I really enjoyed playing Xbox. I used to bring my Xbox over to your house, and we used to play Call of Duty. And we would connect to the internet and we would play Call of Duty, and that was just the thing. We really liked doing that, like middle school era. And then post middle school, that's history. I mean, everything else turned into girls and sports and everything else, from you in tennis, and then me in baseball, and then golf soon after. So I think it all turned in from there. So anyway, that's enough to preface.
Well, we just got to high school, so I guess in college we roomed together freshman year, and that was a killer roommate situation. It was Roger McCoy, Ben Thomas, Drew Thomas, this guy right here, or I guess, do I point this way? I'm gonna point this way, and
okay.
And it was just a great situation freshman year, and then I think sophomore year and junior year, we hung out a few times, but we kind of got separated into like finding our new kind of social circles. And then senior year is when we kind of reconnected and hung out like all the time. And that's when we got kind of involved in, like, I don't like this partying thing. I don't like this chasing girls thing. I just want to better myself. I want to understand how to bring peace into my life and how to get rid of these random strongholds and put good things into my life. And we just nerded out on that.
Yeah, we did. And coming from the perspective of the books that you were reading, I think, like, when I came into senior year, all I wanted was a good girlfriend to go into my job with after senior year. I had gotten an offer in September of my senior year, and but I had done an internship the summer before, but I realized like what I was getting into, and it wasn't quite fulfilling to me. And I remember coming to you with like questions of, dude, I just don't feel good. I feel terrible. And, I really want to, there's something more that I'm missing. And excuse me, I'm going to spit this out in a second. I know it's
Dude,
distracting,
do
but I'll
you,
be quiet.
man? Don't worry, do you?
So I remember I came to you and you said, go see the counselor. I went and saw the counselor once and it was really good for me. And so I did, and I went and saw him, and he put me on this guided meditation that blew my mind, that absolutely blew my, like, he put me on this train of thought that I hadn't spent enough time to just sit and feel and go into just a different zone completely. And he showed me this feel, and for like a solid day after that, the rest of the day I was feeling great. But you did put me on that sort of growth route that go ask for help. That's one of the first things. And I was very unhappy at the time. I was finding validation through women, and through I mean, I wasn't even drinking that much at the time or smoking weed or anything like that. And, but I was trying to find validation through women, and it just wasn't, it wasn't the deal. And so
Hey,
anyway, we're
that
going to
actually
talk about
brings me
that
to
later.
that actually brings me to one of my questions
Okay.
that I had. So I'm sure a lot of people out there have experienced heartbreak or are currently going through like a setback. How do you have you experienced something like that in your life? And if
Absolutely.
and if you have, how do you go about overcoming that setback?
Yes, I did. And I think it happened one time. It happened a few times, but it happened one time really badly. Um, I had this girl that I thought was great, and she was great, and we just had a blissful experience the whole time we were together. And we weren't we weren't doing anything, uh like, we weren't having a lot of sex at all. We were just talking until like 4 a.m. every night. She would come over at 11 p.m. and we would talk until like 4 a.m. the next day. And but I had to break up with this girl because I thought all my friends were getting on to me because um she was taking pictures with other guys, and I was like, well, I'm not going to have that stress in my life. So I broke up with her, and then I fell into like a deeper depression after that. And that heartbreak happened, which hurt really bad, which I asked you about. And then you said go to the counselor, or actually I went to the counselor before, but after that I talked with my mom for a long time. But that then put me on the route of trying to analyze my mind. And so I read this book called Happiness, by Dr. Doc some an Indian name, but it was called Happiness, and it was written for people that were like 60 plus years old. And it just wasn't for me, but I found a few things that were helpful inside there. And uh, one the best meditation that comes to my mind now that I actually had, was uh, I it was like a process of thinking about time as a flow of liquid gold. Like, if you had like a mug or something, or like a canteen, you're pouring over just liquid gold flowing out of that, and that's time. um and that holds true as time being the most valuable asset on the planet. um Anyway, that then put me into a different world of meditation and health and wellness. So, like, understanding diet and exercise and sleep and all that good jazz. But um, hopefully that was good.
Dude, I think the illustration of I think time is a really undervalued commodity, and especially with coronavirus going on, and I know I'm guilty of this, just wasting time watching Netflix or something like that. But if in the back of your head you have time as in this imagery of every minute you waste is X amount of gold. Then it puts it into a monetary perspective, which is how we humans function in like a reward system. And I think that's a beautiful illustration. Yeah, that's cool.
All from that book, you know, and then that book then led to Think and Grow Rich. And then, you know, like that book led to, it seems like hundreds, but I think it was just the fact that it was so much material thrown at me during a time that I actually needed it, that it felt much more. But yeah. Well, what about you? Did you have a heartbreak, and how did you overcome that heartbreak?
Didn't expect you to ask me this. Let's think.
Good.
All right, so I had a girl, and we were kind of the same thing. It was like we would stay up really late and just chat, and like when we were together, it was just like time itself was not pouring. Do you know what I mean? It was like free time.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of a very intense, go at it kind of person, but she kind of brought me back down to very mellow, like helped me relax. And that was one of the traits I really liked about her. And I asked her out, and she was going to move to Colorado, and I was going to stay in Birmingham. And she was like, no, we can't date, pretty much. And I think when you like, it's so weird, relationships in college and your young adult phase. It's like you'll do everything that a person in a relationship would do, but
Get laid. That's it.
No, I'm
young and dumb.
I know. I'm talking about like you would do everything in a relationship. Like you would do everything, like you talk about the hard stuff, and you do the things, and you go on dates, and you go travel places. Everything a person that was dating someone would do, but you're not actually dating. Like it's not a thing. It's just like friends with benefits, I guess. And I guess I kind of figured we were dating, but I never spoke up. And I guess that really hurt me. And I know, and I'm going to kind of go back to, and I know that really hurt me. And I still haven't dated another girl since then. And it's still on my mind. And it's been since senior year of college. So 2.5, 3 years. And so like that's, I can be kind of apathetic.
You look great, Bubba.
Yeah, I can be kind of apathetic when I talk about this, but it's still kind of hitting me. So I've just been working on me for a while. I think the only thing that helped me overcome that setback was to get a little selfish and divert some of those resources into trying not to think about her, and just trying to better me and improve my processes, improve my habits, and work out my brain, not just my body. And yeah, so I think by being a little selfish and understanding that it's just not going to happen, and heartbreak is a thing, and you just got to focus on you and get better, and the right girl is going to come. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Yeah. So what did you do to overcome that? Like, what did you do to resolve that?
Well, I just started focusing on me, man. I didn't look for another girlfriend, and I really haven't since. And I've just been trying to better me and make sure that I'm mentally, like, that I love me, that I think it's important to love yourself. So you're not trying to feed love off of someone else. Like, you're independent. And I hope my wife someday is totally independent, and we just help each other grow, and we just love spending time with each other, and time stands still. But yeah, I think you just got to kind of turn the focus away from the issue, which is really tough, and just trying to start bettering yourself so you're ready for when the right girl comes along. You're in the right headspace for it. It's like being prepared. So yeah, I hope that helps. I know that was kind of a roundabout way of answering your question.
I mean, the way I translate that in my mind is practice makes perfect in who you want to be, and whenever somebody else comes along where you are feeling you, that other person knows you are feeling you, and then they just want to be a part of that, and you know, and then that part then becomes, you know, a sixth to a fifth to a fourth to a third, and then, you know, if you want to get married or something like that, that they end up becoming a whole half. So yeah, I think and then you start feeding off each other in a lot of different ways. So yeah, cool.
Yeah, man. Yeah, didn't expect to get that deep today, but that's cool.
Good.
All right. You said you had some questions prepared?
Yeah, for sure. Instead of going off of so you just moved to Fort Collins, Colorado.
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
Monday, 84. About 100 days ago. I'd
Okay.
say. Yeah, maybe a little under 100 days ago. Yeah.
So I know from personal experience that moving is I think from a functional perspective, from a living standard, that's the hardest thing to do. It's just got to be, you know, going to the place you want to go for any apparent reason, and and doing the thing you want to do there and making it happen. You know, that's one of the hardest things you can do. So my question to you is, what is the main thing that you've learned about yourself after moving to Fort Collins?
I think your question answered your question, or in the way you explained your question. For me, moving to Fort Collins, move in Birmingham, I had all my habits in line. I was doing great at like waking up at the right time, writing in my journal, eating the right like diet was right, spiritual life was great. I was in one place. I was doing my evening routine. I was going to sleep at a great time. I was going to sleep quickly, and I was writing a lot, and I got so much done writing, and all my creative endeavors were just kind of like at an all-time high. And then I moved to this. I had just a gut feeling. I don't know if any of y'all out there have ever just had someone in your heart that you had to go for. And I just had this like get out to Colorado in my heart for like 3 years, and I was like, okay. So I moved up here to Fort Collins, and all my habits just tanked. My writing, it tanked. My spiritual life didn't. I wouldn't say it tanked, but it definitely wasn't at the place that it was. Everything just kind of tanked, and I realized that I didn't have. I think in any kind of area in your life, whether it's social or family or monetary or business, in every area of your life, if something significant happens, it can be really easy to get thrown off of your habits or your current like schedule. It can be really easy to get thrown off mentally, spiritually. It can get really easy to throw it off. So you got to have a. I learned that my anchor wasn't firm enough, and it was like this gust comes through. So
What was your anchor?
My anchor was God. But as soon as like my spiritual level was here, and as soon as I moved, I kind of got overwhelmed and just kind of prayed every now and then. You know what I mean? And right over in Birmingham, I had this like deep anchor, but when I moved to Colorado, my anchor hadn't even set yet, and I was going ahead and I was trying to do everything on my own. And
yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, for sure. Like for me, I think about the move to Santa Cruz that way as well. It took me a while to to feel in place. And to be honest, I never quite felt in place. Is my mic a little loud or is it good?
Dude, I'm loving the sound. You're good.
All right, good. Um, the yeah, California never felt quite like home. And I wrote a song about going to California, and then I also wrote a song about coming home while I was in San Diego, which is the last place I moved to when I was in California. So I moved from Santa Cruz to California or to San Diego, but yeah, it never quite felt at home. And I think it was just the feeling that I couldn't drive and see my parents or drive and feel the actual place that I was from. But I agree with your anchor thing in that I think one of my anchors was uh, you'll always be aware enough to always be able to meditate and be aware of everything that's going on. And I took that for granted. Meaning that I don't think that's possible. I don't think it's ever aware. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like you can never rely on the feeling of completely being aware all of the time. You know what I'm saying?
I think
Like,
once I first learned about awareness, I was like, oh yeah, I'm super aware.
hmm
And
hmm
then I realized,
yeah,
wait, I'm not actually that aware of everything.
yeah,
I like turn it off for
yeah,
like 10 hours a day and turn it on for two.
yeah. Yeah, and dude, it's so easy to just turn it off and just be like, "Nah, I'm gonna drink 2 extra cups of coffee today. You know, I'm gonna eat 3 extra slices of pizza and cut it off for a little longer, you know,
Or
and
just
go
like,
watch Netflix."
yeah, watch a movie and just
Yeah.
like zombie out for,
Yeah, zonk out. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, so the anchor theory is cool because I my mind goes to The Rock and like how he has like working out in the morning as his anchor. Um uh so yeah, that's an interesting concept because I think the anchor is one of the keys to a happy living and I guess trying to format that acre in a way that uh, alleviates most of the stress that you're going to have throughout your day. So if you can do the hard things in the morning, then the rest of your day is going to be a lot easier.
Yeah, it's also another way to put it is the foundation that you're built on.
Yeah,
And what is that foundation? What is that thing that's core to you that you
yeah.
place your faith in?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, I've got one for you. How about, all right, this is just going to be a kind of fun one.
Yeah.
If you were to go off the grid for 4 to 8 weeks, where would you go and why?
Uh, if I was to go off the grid for 4 to 8 weeks, where would I go and why? I would go to Avalon. I would go to South Carolina. Um, and so Avalon is a place to me that it is a second home. Um, and it's a place that pretty much all nature. It's all outdoors. There's outdoor furniture and outdoor places to sleep, and there's a lake and there's a beautiful waterfall that flows through the middle of the property, fields and stuff, places to run and exercise, and there's gardens and stuff like that, and it's all created around family friends. We've based this thing based off uh, of friends of the family, not just my family, but different families in this little circle. We've all kind of like networked a little bit and brought in people from around that, and so I would go there. I would go there and disconnect. That's where I would go. Yeah.
Cool, man.
What about
That's
you?
um off the grid. So there's this place. I think it's in Oregon, in Olympic National Park. It's called the HOH hole.
I think Olympia is in Washington.
Washington. Okay, cool. Yeah. It's called the whole. I read an article on this a while back, and whole rainforest, HOH rainforest, and the article was like 12 places left on the earth that have silence. And I love the 12, 10, 5 things that articles. I don't know. They just draw me in. I guess it's great copywriting. But apparently this place is a large rainforest in the U.S. that no external noise like cars or any kind of sound interference that isn't natural would come in. So it's just it's complete silence. And I know that's not a very likely, I guess, place for solitude. Like some people would like to go to the beach, but I guess it's not that kind of strange. I think I get some of my best work done in solitude, where I'm not distracted. I'm pretty easily distracted. As a kid, I had some ADD, and yeah, you get distracted easy. So in places where there are no distractions, that's where I get my best ideas and my best work done. So I think, yeah, I would either go there or a monastery, like a nice Christian monastery. I went to one down in, I think it was like Phoenix City or something. But yeah.
So when you say like distraction is a primary component of if we go off of Stephen Pressfield's War of Art, resistance, how do you reconcile different distractions that you think that might, like for me, I'll write a song and also be listening to a podcast at the same time, but it's just so I don't feel lonely. That's the only reason that's the reason I have it on in the background. But I don't know if that's the reconcile in my head, or if it's actually, if I was actually writing that song more intimately, I would become closer to it. And I think that sad truth is the latter. But how do you reconcile distractions?
Well, since I got off ADD medicine around the end of college, and since then, it's kind of been a goal of mine to focus on gaining control of my focus without drugs. And there's nothing wrong with it, and people need it, and I totally get that. But for me, I didn't like who it turned me into when I took it, so I just stopped taking it. And there's a few things. First, I guess first, just listening to what you told me, I think it's important that, like, for me when I'm writing, I can't listen to any music with words, because the music with words comes in, and that's taking part of the lingual processes, and then so is my writing, and it just takes it away and draws me out. So I have to listen to an instrumental to where my brain isn't processing that information. I think it's also
sense. That completely makes sense.
Yeah. And I think, have you ever thought about, I read this somewhere, as focus as in shifting gears. So
Absolutely. And so I'm working on a pretty difficult software project right now that um uh, I'm using a couple of yes, and I'm using a couple of different um one main thing that has been very strong on my mind, and is something that Ernest Hemingway uses in his writing, is that he will always stop on a part that he's excited about getting back into. That's been extremely effective within my mind. Um, and so, yes, I do that, and I stop at a point that, and sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes I have to stop on an error, and I'm so stressed that I'll have to go to exercise, or I'll have to sit and it's basically always exercise. It's basically always, I need to go for a run. I need to go for a walk or something. I need to get out in nature. I need to walk around. I need to get my mind completely off this. And yes, in terms of that being the whole framework of the way that I'm optimizing software development. But if I'm optimizing music, yes, too, but I haven't quite figured it out as much. um, the creative process is extremely difficult to interpret for me in my mind right now. But I think there is something to stopping where you were excited about the next thing that's coming. Uh, you know,
Yeah, I love that,
each
man.
writer yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
that's
it's so interesting, you know,
yeah, I love
stopping where
that.
you get it, you're getting excited off of something coming next, you know?
Yeah.
It's like okay, it's like the it's like a town, there's a town, and if you're reading a murder mystery, like the police officer, like back end of the book, like 3/4 of the way in, like you have the last quarter left, which means there is a lot of controversy going to happen. And
Boss
then
fight. Boss
really
fight's about to
exactly
happen. Yeah.
exactly
And you're
exactly
like,
you'd be
dude, it's about to go
excited about
down. And you're like, all
excited
right,
about it. Yeah,
tomorrow.
boom, boom, exactly. And then you practice, and then like in your head, you're like, I'm practicing delaying gratification, baby.
Oh my God.
And it's like,
I'll
you
drink to
know,
that. I'll drink to delayed gratification.
yeah. And you know, other things like, yeah, definitely
Hey, when
like
was the
that.
last toast to delayed gratification?
When was the last toast?
Toast to delayed gratification. Who do you think did a toast to it?
I'm reading Harry Potter right now, and like the only person I could think of is like Professor McGonagall, just kind of that hard ass stern lady that's like, good job, Harry. You didn't take the marshmallow this time. Next class.
Hey, on. I had one more thing on the switching gears on the focus. That I just love to. I hate when people are just kind of like follow your dreams, but they don't give you any applicable like advice or knowledge on how to do that. It's just like, okay, that's great. I'm pumped up, but like that
Gary
pump up is
Vaynerchuk.
gonna leave.
Sure.
Nope. I'm not saying any names. No comment. But it's okay. So switching gears. So high gear would be like so like let's go gear 4. Gear 1 through 4. Gear 4 high gear. You're mountain biking and you are on a tough trail and you got a jump coming up. Okay. Um, this book was saying that um, you increase your breath to a higher rate, not at quite the hyperventilating rate, but a higher rate. And then let's say if we're going to go down to you have to switch gears. It's like a, and then
Yeah.
so yeah,
Yeah.
and then so say gear 1 would be a much slower, calmed breath. And that's like your creative, um, your spacey, your daydreamy,
Mm-hmm.
kind of that you want that first gear for your daydream, and you don't want to be super focused on the graphite coming off your pencil when you're
Yeah.
drawing. You just want to be relaxed and like, what's next,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
So, I think it was an interesting real life example on how to downshift and how to upshift.
That's cool because I've been doing some research on like when we talk about running and like this hit training stuff, I'm always trying to go to the next level. And um I re-listened to a Joe Rogan podcast with Laird Hamilton, and Laird talks about how if you breathe through your nose while you're running, it opens up, number one, it opens up your nasal passages, but it also it trains your lungs to it's harder for them to pull out because it's smaller here than here. Then you can suck in a lot more breath from your mouth than you can your nasal passages. And what he says is, what I've been taking into account is the more nasal breathing you can do from any type of workout. Um, like if you take a breath in from your mouth, when you need to begin to taking breath in from your mouth, you're going to go farther, and you're going to be stronger in that time that you take breaths in from your mouth, because it is a different gear. It's going from here to here. And um yeah, so that's what I translated in my mind. I was actually working on that today. So, uh, but yeah, the relaxation state of 4 seconds breath in of, and then the four out.
Yeah, it's a quick like 30-second downshift or 30-second upshift, but you better not be breathing and then just like
Yeah.
falling asleep when you're about to take that jump on your mountain bike. You better be super
Yeah.
focused, laser focused, like you're about to take that jump. I think it's important. You could be like calm, like cool and collected,
What if,
but you better be.
what if what if up to the jump you need to get like really hyperventilated, so you're because you're going up the hill, and then there's a downhill part, and then that's where you hit the jump. On the downhill part, you hit that jump right there, and then right at that part, like you get at the top of the hill, and then at the top of the hill you go.
That
You know what
would
I'm
be
saying?
that would be very pro. That would be very
Yeah,
pro. Like
right.
I think you'd have to be
That's the
next
way we
level
go.
BMXer to be able to downshift from 4 to 1 so quickly. But I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
I
yeah.
think once you get that confident competence in
Mhm.
the area that you're trying to focus in, you can make those kind of downshifts and upshifts.
Yeah.
What's one thing that brings you the most joy? Or what is the thing?
Um, Laughing about a shared laughing with other people about a shared idea, whether that be music or comedy or philosophy, or just creating a situational comedic laughter. That brings me the most joy, without a doubt.
Cool.
What about you?
That brings me the most joy. I've been having since coronavirus has been going on. I've been having a lot of time where I'm just locked up in the house. But luckily, I have like the outdoors like 5 minutes away from me, like decent sized mountains. And um, whenever I get to the top of a mountain, I sit down and I look around and make sure is anyone around here? I guess I'm a little self conscious about it, but if there's no one around, I'll say it out loud, and if there's people around, I'll just close my eyes and say it internally. But I'll start gratitude stacking. So I'll just go like the shoes on my feet, this view, running water, hot water, a car that runs, my eyesight, water that's clean, drinkable, accessible. And I'll probably gratitude stack for a minute, 2 minutes. And I don't know if it's like my optical receptors. I don't even know if that's the right word. Just the lack of sunlight, because I've had my eyes closed for like 2 minutes or whatever. But I'll open my eyes and it's like I'm seeing in like, it's like an overload on my receptors, and my body's feeling so good because it's so grateful. And in that moment, it's just like unstoppable.
Yep.
I don't know how it's just
Yeah.
a blissful feeling.
Yeah, yeah. When you find yourself in that state of gratitude, and then you open your eyes to the rest of the stimulus, it becomes all the stimulus becomes good. It, like, none of it becomes fearful or stressful or dangerous or anything like that. It all becomes loving. Yeah. Yeah, I get that completely. Yeah. I have a couple other questions, but yeah, I'll ask you one, since you look excited. Um, although I think yeah. Uh, what is you asked me, like, what brings me the most joy? What thing brings me the most joy? But what process um what process are you utilizing that you're falling in love with? The initial question will, what is the process where you find the most peace? But I I'm more curious in that, in asking you, what process are you finding the most love in? Like, what process are you falling in love in? The reason I ask is because I think falling in love with the process is an immediate attractor for greatness in that subject, whatever that subject may be.
There's this monastic Christian, I guess, practice called contemplative prayer. And my grandfather was really into it, and he got me hooked on it. He sent me all of the famous Christian monks. I've got a book right here, Thomas Merton, and he was a monk, and it's like you sit there and you work. It's like it's a little bit of breath work, but it's not about the breath. It's about resting in the presence of God. And there's something about the mornings that I do it. I do feel a lot of resistance towards doing this. I think I feel the resistance because I think it's really good for me. And it's
things.
Yeah, a lot of things that are good for you feel a lot of resistance towards, like eating that apple instead of the candy bar.
Yeah.
And
God,
so
Snickers good.
Yeah, and give me a Snicker right now because you got me hungry. And
what about those Skittles, dude?
Sour Skittles, please.
Sour Skittles.
Yeah. But yeah, you're sitting there and you're in the presence of God, and you're breathing and you're focusing on. For me, I mean, it can be whatever you want it to be. For me, it just works that I'm focusing on Jesus and I'm just breathing in and out. And any other thought that tries to enter that's not related to God, I just kind of slowly push it away. And then I get out of that state. And sometimes, I know it sounds weird, but sometimes it kind of guides me throughout the day. Like I'll like read some scripture in the morning, or I've read something the other day, and like that will come to mind, and I'll be like, whoa, that's pretty cool. And I think it kind of puts like a metaphorical armor on for me, that things like bad ideas, bad things just kind of bounce off. I know that's kind of silly, but that is a process that I've been falling in love with.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's what's the name of that book?
It's the 7-Story Mountain.
Can I see the front cover?
Yeah, here.
7-Story Mountain, an autobiography of faith. Thomas Merton. Cool. Right on.
Yeah, and I have like 3 other books from my grandfather about this stuff up there. And
all right, since we're on books, I want to shoot you another quick question.
Okay.
And it is directly from what I sent you, but what quote is most immediate on your mind that has brought inspiration to you?
I have 2 quotes in mind for sure that I kind of walk by. But one of them, I think I'll just share this one. It's by Mark Batterson. He wrote "In a Pit with a Lion on a Snowy Day," which is a great book. And in this book, he says, more often than not, the only thing standing in between you and your dream is a rational excuse. So it
makes sense,
man. Most of the time when you're going to go after your dream, if you're going to have to quit your job, there's going to be a rational excuse for you not to quit your job. There's going to be a rational excuse for you to not move away. There's going to be a rational excuse for you to stay where it's comfortable. But more often than not, that rational excuse is the only thing standing in between you and your dream. And that just really, it's like, it made me interested in auditing my excuses and auditing my life and saying like, why am I not deciding to go down this path? And it's like, okay, it's because I'm scared that it's like the Tim Ferriss fear setting, man. Do you want to talk on that for a sec?
Sure.
I love that stuff.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you got it, man.
That's all right. You go ahead. You're excited about it.
Okay. It's like you have a fear. Like I think Tim, he had a business he was going to run, but he was getting really overwhelmed and he just wanted to travel. And so he wrote down travel the world, something like that. I'm paraphrasing here. And he said, all right, so what are my fears? Okay, business shuts down. What's something I can do to mitigate that risk? All right. I don't know, work on it 6 hours a day while I'm traveling. What's the percentage chance that my business fails? This, and then once you kind of work your way down and you analyze what your fear is or what the excuse is, how you can mitigate it, and what the percent chance that it actually happens, you realize that your fears are not so big anymore. Yoda says, named fear must be before banish it you can. And so it's like you've got to write down the name of your fear and banish it.
Take it from Yoda, bro.
Yeah. You asked me a process that I'm falling in love with. What are you falling in love with right now? It doesn't have to be a process. What are you just really enjoying in life?
I'm enjoying the fact that I can set things down and be able to enjoy an afternoon, an evening with my family. Um, it's hard sometimes, but uh, when work is a lot, and I know I'm getting things done. Like I enjoy life, man. When I know that when I'm not anxious about anything that's coming up, man, I've enjoyed life, and I do think it has taken away from the music a little bit. I have been practicing a lot, 2 to 3 hours a day. I'm shooting for that every day. Uh, Hence me trying to wake up earlier in the morning, which we should get to soon. Um, the habit stuff.
Yeah, you're right.
The process of following my intuition, man. That's what I'm falling in love with. The process of
Hey, I just turned my mic off. Can you hear me?
mhm.
Okay, cool. Sorry. Go ahead.
The process of just trusting, just the idea that like this song isn't coming right now. This work's not coming right now. My family's here though. They're here and they're relaxing downstairs. I can talk to them. And I think I'm falling in love with the process of if this is your next question, the quote, um I'm not sure if I'm living by this, but it does come to mind all the time, and it goes, the Tao does nothing yet leaves nothing undone. And to me it just means uh w- we all live and die, like, are you gonna you know are you gonna leave a wake? Are you gonna leave a wake for people to surf on? Are you gonna leave a wake for people to float on, go up and down with their life jackets? Are you gonna drive a sea-doo? Are you gonna drive a boat? Are you gonna swim? Or are not even gonna touch the water? And um you can do nothing, and but also you will never leave anything undone. um I, to some extent that has an effect of helping me theorize the butterfly effect in my mind, of understanding that there's not going to be not one person that isn't affected by the things that you do in your life. When I was driving Uber in Santa Cruz, I picked up this guy, this musician, and dropped him off at this place, and he was having a party with all his band members. and he said he was successful. And I said, you know, how can you be successful in this business? How can you do it? And he said, you know, you have to redefine success. You have to ask yourself what success is. And he said that um, you might just make your family really happy, you know, and sometimes that's enough for people, you know. Sometimes you might make your town really happy. Sometimes you might make the world really happy, and just reconciling with the fact that you're making wakes. Period.
Yeah, I like that, man. That's cool. Yeah, that butterfly effect and the making wakes. Why don't you let people know what butterfly effect is and how it relates to the wakes?
Um, like a you know, a butterfly flaps its wings on in China, over China right now. I'm feeling the effects of that butterfly flapping his wings in America right now, all the way across the world.
Yeah, they put like the effect of a butterfly's wings into this like mathematical calculator, and then they showed the effect that it would have in uh, like the United States, and it ended up being a much larger margin than they ever expected.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's cool.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it makes sense, right? You know, like Einstein's E equals mc squared. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. So it makes sense that something like that could happen. You know, I mean, just makes sense. And I'm obsessed with theories, man. I'm obsessed with systems, and that's one reason I like software development. It's one reason I like making music, which is seems like the opposite side of the spectrum in
Yeah,
terms of how to create a system, how to create a process, how to create something that you love that you want to put out in the world. And um, yeah, yeah, man.
um,
What
I
time are
guess
we at?
I have no idea. No idea. Let's just go until
It's
we
got to
feel
be
like we're
going
good.
farther. It's
Yeah.
got to have been gone farther. Anyway,
Yeah.
let's continue.
So I guess we should move to the second portion,
Yeah,
which is, I guess we were talking about on the phone when we were thinking of this, how we wanted to get better and help each other grow, and how the coronavirus is definitely taken a toll on my habits. And it was like I moved here, and then
same.
coronavirus hit, and it just took a toll on my habits.
Hmm.
What
Yeah,
what you too, Drew?
yeah, yeah, for sure. Same as mine.
Yeah, and so we were just kind of like, all right, well, what's a fun, constructive way that we can learn something and also uh, help each other grow?
Yeah.
And the, we just decided to make this podcast. Um,
Yeah, this podcast, I think is now centered around the fact that we just like to talk, but it's like we're also using it selfishly as an accountability use so that we can keep track of all the things that we're trying to get better at.
yeah,
So
simple.
it's
Yeah,
just
it's
easier tracker
yeah,
for social media use or whatever. You know, it's easier for me to tell you what I messed up on and see your facial expression to me and how that makes me feel. So
yeah.
yeah,
And there was
I'll
a
go first.
one second, and back in the day, I read this thing that this guy named Tim Ferriss wrote, and he was like, are you trying to commit to something but you keep not following through? Just blast it out to every one of your followers on social media, and if you fail, they will all see you fail. And if that isn't enough motivation for you to get the thing done, then you probably don't want to do that thing in the first place.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
so yeah, that I guess that's another kind of tier two why it's cool to do a podcast and put it out for everyone to see if and when we do make these I guess commitments to improving our habits.
Another framework, you know, another framework, and we did this last month. We did this through I mean, I guess it was through halfway through March, and we did it through halfway through April. But we did a lot of
What'd
business
you do
things.
last month? What were your goals?
Um, I feel like it. I feel like I feel like they're all business slash creative goals that that we're completed, but I feel like it becomes even more personal because we're utilizing personal goals now this month through this accountability program, and I feel like it's even more important just to talk about those. I mean, we could talk about the ones from the past, but I
Okay,
mean,
sure. Yeah,
I mean, unless you want to talk about the website you created, right?
no. I was going to kind of harp on that and say
Well, go ahead.
that a mentor of mine suggested that I do a yearly goal and then monthly goals. And then so every month I have these kind of sub goals that add up to this yearly goal. And so I just think it's a very effective way of organizing um, things that you want to accomplish in life using the calendar year.
Cool.
That's all I wanted to say.
Right on.
So
Let's just crank these out. Let's just say them, and then we're going to go back over them. So we're going to reiterate, so we don't have to go into too much depth.
okay,
Like
yeah.
we've gone into depth on a lot of different things.
These things
Okay.
can, I guess, kind of be personal to both of us that we're saying because they're things we're struggling with habits wise.
Mm-hmm.
So
they're all personal to me, by the way. So I want to do. These are all very this way to me. So I want to wake up by 7 a.m. every day, which means going to sleep at 10:30 and being in bed by 9:30, which my time right now is 11, so we're gonna figure it out. I want to be able to knock out the total body workouts I'm doing. There's two different types, and I'm super as crap, so I know they're gonna be hard. I want to learn 2 songs a week. I want to release 2 songs on YouTube a week, cover songs. I'm holding my originals until a later date that they will be coming out soon. I'm actually moving to Athens in about a week and a half, so they'll be
dude,
coming out
that's
then.
news to me, man.
Yeah.
Congrats. About to
Thanks,
make the
man.
move, huh? That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I'm stoked, man. I can't wait.
Hey, let me ask you a question real quick. How are you going to mitigate that, how we talked about initially, that kind of gust of wind that comes in? Because you're going to create all these great habits on this podcast, and then as soon as you move, all those habits go down. So what's your plan to mitigating that gust of wind? Where's your anchor? Where's your foundation at?
Dude, the anchor is the get up time, man. The get up time is the anchor, man. It's the rest of what I was gonna say, which leads into your point, is I want to be able to write every morning for 2 hours, and that also means practicing every morning for 2 hours, and that's learning scales. That's writing. That's learning cover songs and stuff like that. And I also want to meditate every morning too, twice a day. I'm pretty good about meditating in the morning, but I want to meditate at night as well. Um, and yeah, those are mainly the things I'm trying to do. So yeah, so to reiterate, 7 a.m. wake up, 2 types of total body workouts, learning 2 songs a week, putting them on YouTube, writing every morning for 2 hours, and then meditating twice a day.
Cool, man.
For 15 minutes each time.
Cool.
Hard to say.
Yeah, will you just text me all those so I have them saved or something like that? Is that cool?
Yeah.
I guess I really didn't write down exactly like the goals that I want to do. I think they'll be kind of sequential, week by week. But for this week, I know I need this. I graduated with accounting and finance, even though that's not my job at all. I guess my mind does kind of work numbers wise. So I wanted to take.
Hey, quick question. So you graduated with accounting and finance. So did you when you got out of school, what your job was social media marketing basically. You worked for the X team for shit for a little, and then they upgraded you. They promoted you to social media marketing, right?
Yeah, it was communication specialist to social media specialist. Yeah.
Okay, so you learned how to create marketing for people on social media. You learn how to create content for Shipped that was going to attract potential users of social media platforms.
Yeah, and I also worked for a company called Trips for Trade that was a startup, and I did a lot of their digital marketing as well.
I saw a lot of the posts you put up about Shipped, and they're really cool, man. They're really cool. The ones about the people, were very heartwarming because you got into their stories kind of in the way that Humans in New York does. I thought it was super cool. So
Cool, man. Thanks.
sure.
So, oh yeah, taking inventory. So I've got I'll show you real quick. I don't know if y'all know Moleskine, but they're fantastic planners / organizers. I don't know if y'all can see that, but that is a full week from 8 to 8.
Oh yeah.
And if I do this correctly, starting tomorrow will be Friday. I should have a Friday to, I guess we did this podcast around 7 my time. So yeah, it should have a full thing if I do this right. And if I don't, then you'll see a very empty page. So that's one thing. And I just really want to, I guess my first goal would be to fill out this page and really audit my life. What am I doing in every hour? And it's going to be kind of embarrassing, if I'm sleeping in or something like that. So I better get up. And the second thing is, what are some things that I'm doing that I can make just a little bit better? Like I have this, I was just thinking about this today. I have this protein shake where I put in protein, and then I put in my BCAA, so branched chain amino acids. And then I put in like a little bit of this hemp hearts, and I put in this fiber, and I'm putting in all these ingredients, and I'm doing a scoop at a time, scoop at a time, scoop at a time, scoop at a time. So I was like, okay, well, how can I make this faster? Because it's taking me 10 minutes every morning to get all my scoops and then shake all my vitamins out, my nootropics and my body vitamins. And I was like, how can I do this better? So I need to get a pill organizer, and I need to get a pill organizer that's big enough to hold the protein powder and the stuff too. That way I can have 2 weeks prepared and not have to wake up every morning. Because one of the biggest things I dread about making a smoothie or a milkshake or whatever, is that you drink for the after workouts is the process of getting all the vitamins out and getting all your mix that you put together. I'm a nerd about it, but so I guess just little things that I can improve on that I see that are, because you said like time, you're pouring out gold. So just how can I make my time? How can I be more intentional about being more effective about the processes that I do every day? Therefore saving time. And right now I have a lot of areas of improvement. I have, my work ethic could be better. My diet could be better. Let's see, my focus can be better. My time with God could be better. My sleep schedule could be better, and I could be writing more. And so those are kind of the things that I want to kind of prioritize in my intentional audit. Those things, like, what am I doing all day that is making me ineffective at these things? And I need to see it. Name the fear must be before banish it you can, Yoda. So name the bad habit must be before banish it you can. So that I'm going to try and name it and banish it and get to be intentional about my day and make some more ripples or get my butterfly wings making people happy.
Cool, man. That's cool. I feel like that's a good spot, man. We should just leave it there.